This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio. This is episode number 184. I think it's 184. It's October the 1st, that I do know, and we are broadcasting live from the construction capital of the world, where on every street corner you can find some kind of construction down here. And, of course, we'd like to thank our wonderful business sponsors here on Fort Myers Beach, including Best Western, Island Oils, Fort Myers Tiki Tours, Nervous Nellies, Margaritas, Sanibel Carts, State Insurance USA, Sun Palace Vacations, La Ola Restaurant, Tuckaway Cafe, Blue Ribbon Events, Beach Pottery, Shuckers, and, of course, Beach Time Out, our home location for over 3 years. And we want to make sure everybody knows that tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of the Tuckaway Cafe. So if you have a chance to stop by and see those guys down the street, it's going to be a big party down there. They have specials going on all day. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see folks down there. And today, while we're here, and while we're next door collecting candy, we're going to be collecting candy for Bay Oaks. So if you have some spare change or a couple of dollars that you can go to the Walmart or the Target or wherever, or Aldi's, and pick up some candy. We're collecting candy for the kids at Bay Oaks.
I'm surprised because you're so anti.
It was rough.
Trick or treat.
I made sure all the candy that I bought was chocolate in some form, like Three Musketeers and Snickers and Kit Kats. You know,
I'm not even going to talk about the chocolate thing. I saw a documentary on it, and then now that's it.
Right. Today, that's right. See, I got the date wrong, too. It's October 2nd, not October 1st. So it's October 2nd. I think it's episode 184.
Yeah, your
Who really
birthday's
cares?
Coming up.
Yes, 57 years old. Wow. Senior citizen
that
for
made
sure.
Everybody in
yeah,
here
I know,
whip
right?
their head up.
So drop some candy off here, and then we're going to be next door at the Margaritas just for a little while because they've got the Arches Walk that starts at noon.
The poker.
Yeah, the poker walk. You're gonna. I guess you walk around the beach and poke people, or how does that thing work?
I'm not for certain, but I think you play a hand of poker. I'm guessing.
Okay, so you get a card and you pay for the card. I've never done that before. Have you?
I haven't either. I want to check it out though.
All right,
because I love poker. You're horrible at it.
Yeah, so we're gonna be checking in with Jamie. Right, Jamie from the Restore the Arches over there at Margaritas, and I want to let people know too that they can drop candy off there for the Bay Oaks. So one thing, real quick, dear, before by the way, later in the show at 9:30 we have Council Member Jim Atterholt on. He's going to answer some of your tough questions, and I know you've been up all night getting your hard questions ready for him.
Who, me or the audience?
For you, yeah. For the audience. So if you have any questions for the town councilman, you'll want to type them in the chat box because, you know, they're always good about answering questions. And let's see. Also, later in the show, we're going to discuss why my wife threw my Amazon Alexa in the pool last weekend. So that'll be an interesting story for you all to hear.
Are we going to discuss all the work I put into that article that you never used?
Okay, we can talk about. You want to talk about that now or later? You see, I think I would like to see what the people think as the show is going on. Like, what the disagreement? One of the many disagreements this week was that when we put the newsletter out every Tuesday and Friday, we try and have as much local news as possible. And when I say local news, I mean beach news, people from the beach. That's what the primary audience is people from the beach. So this week, there was a lot of stuff going on because, you know, Margaritaville's making progress and, you know, there's under the bridge parking and things like that. So the goal is to have 13 stories for every newsletter. And so you're so sometimes you're so one-dimensional on this water thing. Like everything you write has to be about the water.
Okay, can I point out when you say local to the beach, to Fort Myers Beach?
Yeah,
it's a beach because there's water out there.
Oh,
and the water is the lifeblood of the beach.
All right, but the water thing is an ongoing thing. Some of these other stories are, you know, timely.
That's fine, but when you went to bed. I said, do you need another story? And you said, we could always use a story. So I sat up till midnight writing this story.
That's the
Just
thing, too.
tell me you don't need it.
There was a possibility that I could have needed it, but I didn't because I had all local stories.
You knew when you went to bed.
I didn't know that.
Had everything.
No, I didn't know that. So the question for the audience is, do you think that we should have? I don't want to ask it so that it's an easy answer for you to win, but would you rather have all local stories about the beach, or does the water story need to be? You see, people are just going to take your side because they just want to take your side. They always take your side.
I just think, why not add it in, or why
there
not
wasn't
put
any
it up,
room.
a link to it, or something?
Well, because I'm saving it for Tuesday. See, it's the water stories are not timely. I even bumped a story about Steve's favorite Congressman Byron Donalds had a story that I had to bump out of the way because he has a town hall coming up, but it wasn't local enough. So they were all local stories.
All right, moving on.
So the question is, should we have incorporated the water story, or should we? 14 is good. All right, Kat. Well, that's a good answer, I guess. So. All right. So where are our guests? Do we have any guests today? Stop reading all the comments and grab our guests.
All right, I got.
And
thank you, Alexa.
Yes.
Commenters.
Yes. And so John Lala wanted us to make sure we gave a shout out to Lee County Sheriff's Deputy Ed White. There was a homeless person hanging around Pete's here, and Deputy White showed up in 7 minutes time. When I think John saw him on the camera early this morning. I don't know what he was doing, but John called the sheriff's, and the deputy was here within 7 minutes. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. There was a homeless person doing some shenanigans here at Pete's Timeout this morning, and John must have been
this morning
looking at. Maybe it was a different morning, but in any event, it was this morning. Angela's saying.
I actually have been on the sheriff's website looking at some statistics, so that's funny that I was.
What do you mean?
Looking at
what do you mean you're
morning.
on the sheriff's website? Is your picture on the website?
No.
Oh,
no.
What were you doing over there? All right, here we go. Our first two guests are. They're already dressed in holiday attire.
Oh my!
And Stephanie and Megan from the Women's Club are here because they have the big festival coming up at the Women's Club. What's the date, Stephanie, of the event?
December 10th and December 11th.
December.
You should know that if you did your work.
Okay.
Before we start,
yes,
we have a present for you.
Thank you.
We will not do this interview without you wearing it.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
I wondered.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Put it on.
It's not it'll
it's a
keep
sweater
you.
vest.
It's a vest, so it's not hot.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's got dinosaurs on it. Come
there
on.
you go. I got a really weird question.
You could just put it on like over.
I got my cans on.
Good point. Good point.
You can take them off.
I mean, we wanted you to feel as festive as us.
Yes.
I was wondering because you asked me what size he was, and I was like,
And Kim,
all
I would
right,
have
there
gotten
you go.
one for you, but it's
No,
way
that's-
better that he
that's
just
quite all
has
right.
one.
That it's really, that's enough. It's really a good amount.
I am happy you asked Kim about his size because I was
know.
concerned
And
about
I got an
that.
extra large, but it seems
Child's extra large.
Youth large. That'll work. You can.
Apparently
That's
he
good
needs
enough.
some work.
That's good. That's.
What are you doing? Do you not know how to get dressed?
okay.
All
We
right.
gotta keep on track.
So the Women's Club has their annual. Is this the fourth annual?
Fourth annual. Yes.
Christmas tree
And every year
celebration.
keeps getting better and better and better.
And so tell us a little bit about how it runs, what's going on, because there's early bird stuff too. It's not just the 10th and the 11th.
There
correct?
is.
Okay.
So Steph, why don't you talk about the raffle? I'll talk about the festival.
That sounds perfect. So we have our first early bird drawing is actually Monday. Megan and I will be going live about 6 p.m. I think is what we decided. Give us a few minutes, one way or the other. We're organized, but not that great. $250 cash drawing. The second one is in November and December. Don't quote me on the dates on that, but they're early November, early December.
I think
I think
last
it's
year
the-
we did the first Monday of each month.
I think you're right. I feel, yeah, I believe you're correct.
Improve Positive last year, Jan Falcom won
Two times.
Wow.
Times.
So how can people get tickets to get in on this drawing?
They can find any women's club member. They can go to FMB.
Like hunt them down, or just
hunt
like,
us down.
okay.
There's lots of. We're here today, obviously. They can go to Fort Myers Beach Pottery Shop. They can go to Islander and get tickets. They can go to fmb-wc.org to get
come
tickets.
knock on my door and I will sell you tickets. We're that shameless about it.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
no shame. It's one ticket for 20 or 6 for 100. Sorry, I was like it's one way or the other. So, and then obviously, even if you win an early bird, your name goes back in the barrel for the grand prize
and that's
drawings.
How that person won twice, right?
Yep.
No, she won with
Actually,
two
two different
separate
tickets.
Oh,
Yep,
wow.
2 different
She's
tickets.
very lucky.
Very lucky. And then our grand prize drawings this year, we have a Jackson Hole skiing experience, a Charleston culinary experience, and a Kentucky bourbon tour.
Ooh, I'm in for that one.
If I could win, Kentucky bourbon would be my choice.
That
But
or the Jackson Hole thing. That would be. That's awesome.
We
too.
really tried to find
they're
stuff
all
this
awesome.
year.
Just
that
personal preference.
Well, we tried to find stuff this year that really appealed to everybody, guys, girls, and everybody across the country that can join in, because we all have friends and family that live everywhere other than here, and they contributed a lot last year. We thought it was important to kind of
Spread it around.
be diverse.
I feel like you took my manhood away.
I think it looks
you
beautiful.
Look fantastic.
I think it improves your manhood.
And
I
it
like
fits
it's
fine now that you put it on, right?
It does. I like the
those
little
are spiffy
dinosaur.
dinosaurs, right?
Yeah. It's like a happy T-Rex. Oh, that's very nice.
Whose
So
sweater
nice of
is
you
this?
guys.
Whose sweater is this?
We ordered it specifically for you.
I did.
Thank
We
you.
actually
You see, now
we
it's like-
debated about different kinds of
you
Christmas
get people taking
vests.
pictures. It's
Ed.
totally embarrassing.
It was a conversation. Well, look at us. We're not shamed.
Well,
No
I mean,
shame. Probably gonna wear this for 2
sweater
days
on.
in December, possibly
There
3.
you go.
Mhm.
Get your money's worth out of it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the festival this year is on for the 10th and 11th of December. That's Friday and Saturday. We're going to kick it off on Friday with our VIP party, which opens at
5.
4. No, it's
Oh, yep,
4:30.
no, see, yep.
4:30 for VIP, 5:30 for general public.
Okay.
So VIP gets to have a private cocktail hour. They get to do a preview of the trees before everybody else comes. We have some specialty drinks that Dawn Thomas is planning. So
Nice.
watch out. She is a
They were
incredible
mixologist.
mixologist.
so
Yeah.
good last year. So
and
good.
then 5:30 starts general public. Bidding can begin on all of the trees. We actually already have 3 confirmed trees, which is amazing. Restore the Arches is joining us this year for the
Nice.
first time, and they already have a great plan for their tree. Garden Club already put in their information. They always do an amazing tree. Art Association. Dan has committed, but has not committed to the nonprofit that he'll be donating to this year. And we encourage, if there's any individual or business out there that wants to partner with a nonprofit that they're passionate about, we would love to have you guys for a tree as well. So it's something to think about.
So how does somebody get a tree in the running there, or in the
But what,
lineup there?
in case there's anybody out there, which I doubt that there is, that has no idea or has never been before, tell a little bit about how it runs and how it works.
No, it's still a good question. So
Thank you. Wow.
the Women's Club does a couple events a year that actually benefit every nonprofit that we can possibly touch, right? So our goal is always to support the nonprofits on the beach and kind of help them be what they need to be. So the Christmas Tree Festival, nonprofits in the area can submit a tree, decorate it however they'd like, and we auction it off for the weekend for them, and then they keep 100% of the proceeds for whatever they auction that tree off. We've had everything from wine bottle trees
That's
to
always a winner.
Lottery
I know,
tickets.
turtle time. We've had trees go for almost $2,000, and that goes right back to your nonprofit. So for a little bit of creativity, your nonprofit can walk away with a good deal of cash.
Dan, I don't believe you, and I am going to get you back for this. So I'm going to have a conversation with the audience because they think it's quite funny what you two have done to me, torturing me like this. But, it's all in fun.
It's
all
not my
in
fault
fun.
you
in
didn't
fun.
pick a T-shirt that didn't
It's all
match.
for a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
cause, dear.
Yes.
So I missed part of the conversation. I was too busy looking at myself in the picture. If we wanted to donate a tree, like we would have to have something on the tree worth bidding for, right? Like,
well, it either needs to. We've had trees that do gift certificates. We've had trees that do. We had one last year that came with a Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
And then we have other trees that are just
Beautiful.
exceptionally beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't.
you
I
know.
mean, it doesn't have to have a monetary
Does
value attached to it. It's. I mean, a beautiful tree is a beautiful tree.
really?
I think so. I mean,
It's
I
like,
mean, you
does it
literally
have to be?
you pick it up, you take it home, you put it in your living
Yeah.
room, and now you
Does it
have
have
Do
to
they
be-
all have to be big, or do you have some little ones? Or
That's
We've
a great
had
question
both.
too. Both. We have some, we have some that are tabletop trees, and some we do have like a cap at like 8 foot or so because the women's club is only so tall.
right. You're not
we-
walking in there with a 20-foot
We
tree.
actually we prefer to not have live trees,
Right.
only because the staying power is a little bit more.
I
slim.
see.
So, but people can be real creative in what they use as their tree, like as the frame, like the wine tree thing. I mean, that was all metal, and
Yeah, Lover's Key did driftwood last year.
yep.
that's awesome.
Yep.
has the community foundation had a tree in
Yeah,
this? Are they in this?
absolutely.
They're in this year.
Actually, last year they did 2 or 1 in a wreath. Maybe.
Yes, one in a wreath. I don't think confirmed this year for Community Foundation.
Not yet.
We've only had 3. We're really early in the game,
if
so
the
we're not.
If the community foundation wanted to have a tree there, would it have to come from them, or can somebody else put it in there for them?
An individual can partner with a nonprofit.
I
So, for
see.
example, if you wanted to, as a business, wanted to do a tree, you would find a nonprofit to
We are
partner
not
with,
a
and the
business.
proceeds would go there.
Well, we would like to do a
We are
tree
not
with the
a
community
business.
foundation. How do we do
Then
that? Can you
Just
sign us up for that?
contact them.
You know, you
Yep.
have
Yeah.
to ask them because maybe they
I
don't,
don't have to
want
ask
you
them.
to do a tree.
Well,
Maybe.
they don't have a choice
gonna-
anymore. It's online.
I'm
It's
gonna-
real.
We
gonna
also have wreaths. So
For the cheap people that can't do
not for
trees.
cheap, but
I
I think
mean-
it was Community Foundation last year that did both a tree
Oh,
and a
that's
wreath.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
And people love it. They went first last year
Yeah.
because we did the buy it now option where there's a tree can put a limit or a wreath, and they were gone very
fu-
And
fast.
That's very
Stephanie
funny.
just brought up
Now-
something that's really important. So it's not just in-person bidding. We will have online bidding again this year. So no matter where you are, if you
Mhm.
can't make it to the festival, you can hop online. We'll have the auction site readily available, and people can go on. They can bid online, keep an eye on their tree that they're interested in, and be able to win a tree that way as well.
Stop looking at me like that.
I'm-
You were looking at
We're
me
just
like you
looking
were
at
looking
how
at me.
amazing
Yeah.
you look.
Yeah, and I'm going to put this sweater on the top of the tree that we donate.
Actually,
It'll be
Whatever you
Perfect.
choose, said.
perfect. Yeah.
So, Ed, are you going to do a chili submission
No,
this year?
never again. Never.
he's still
Never again.
so
No, you guys don't know what New York chili with hot dogs is supposed to be, and I'm not going to be in last place another year. So
We don't announce last place.
yeah.
I think you were
okay,
just
you did to me.
you
I
were a
think you were
little
middle of the pack.
underprepared. We'll
Well,
just say you were underprepared.
The first
You
year,
didn't read the instructions.
No, the first year I just showed up with a pot of chili. I didn't know you needed to have spoons and a crock pot and all that
or
crap.
have it
and
be hot.
yeah, well,
We provide spoons.
it tastes better cold.
it's got to be chili,
really
not
does.
gazpacho.
Actually, my husband will eat any leftovers cold. He
Yeah.
never heats anything up, so that's right up his alley.
So, in addition to the women's club festivities, you also have something going on at Lovers Key. I want to make sure we mention
I
that.
do, but I'd like to finish
Okay.
Christmas Tree Festival
Yes,
real
can
quick.
Well,
you
we
just
can always
slow
go
down?
back and forth,
There's
but
also like a
then
bake
again-
sale, right?
There is.
Ah.
So Saturday we have a vendors market. So for any vendors out there that would like to showcase their goods, the vendors market is going to be from 1 to 4. That kind of crosses over with our chili tasting, which goes from 3:30 to 8 on Saturday. As everybody knows, Reed is very proud
Yes.
of his chili at
Here,
SOB.
okay, take a break, take a breath now, because I have to let our new viewers
Oh, here we
know
go.
that Reed from SOB is a cheater, and he's cheated the last 2 years. He brings the same chili. He's got no creativeness.
That's
He
Not
brought-
true.
cheating.
Totally different chili last year.
He didn't bring the chicken chili
No,
last year.
No,
No.
he did, but
See?
he brought the same chili twice and it won both
No,
years.
and because-
there's no cheating.
Folks, this is how it works when you go to the chili contest for Reed. everybody sets up at the right time and everybody sets up in the tent.
Here we go.
And Reed shows up at the very last minute. And there's no room, Reed. You can set up outside the tent. So everybody has to taste Reed's chili first. He's figured that out. And I went to his house to see that you guys gave him like this championship belt or something that he has hanging up in
It's
his
a jacket. It's a green jacket
that he has hanging up in his garage.
Like the master's jacket?
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's how he makes sure everybody is full. I mean, how can you, when you taste white chicken chili that's hot, you really can't taste any other chili after that.
Well, we've leveled the playing field, Steph. Talk
So
about how we've laid it out.
last year, I think one of the best things to come out of COVID was our chili tasting layout.
Yeah.
We had it was very beautiful actually outside. We had it was around, we had a pole up in the center with lights and lights dangling down, and all the way around the outside were the chili tents spaced apart. So everyone was in a circle. There was no one at the entrance, no one at the end, no one outside. I don't remember if we had tents over the chili. I think we did.
That's to each person's discretion.
Yes.
When is the chili contest? The same day?
Saturday.
Saturday, December 10th. I see. And so
11. I think the 11. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And so can you just put Reed all the way back by the fence?
He was in the back last year. He wasn't at the entrance last year.
Oh, he figured out a way to cheat.
Yep.
Anyway, go
All
on.
right,
Go on.
Anyhow,
Everybody
so
knows now.
vendor market. If anyone is interested in that, Ashley is actually taking care of the vendors this year. She's doing an amazing job. Also with Gail, the two of them are just pulling in vendors left and right. They're doing a good job there. And then anybody where, again, same with the trees. If there's a person out there that has fantastic chili, let us know. We want you to be there. We want you to make your chili and be part of it. It's not an exclusive just to a restaurant or, we always invite all the council members and
there was,
everybody else.
when we were there was people there. One was me, and somebody else had a vegetarian one. So
Yep.
Yeah, that didn't win
We've
either.
had alligator chili, elk. We've had,
We'll
there's a
take it all.
variety.
The fire department was there.
Theirs is always,
Yeah.
it's amazing,
They had a really
but
good
it
chili.
is very spicy.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
Well,
though.
Makes sense. So
yeah, they can put out the fire themselves.
what's
So there you go.
what's in this barrel here? What do you
All
got
right,
there?
So we're going to enlist Kim's help for this.
Okay.
All right.
I'll hold your microphone.
I got it.
I mean, what do dinosaurs have to do with Christmas? That's the thing I don't get. I mean, why are there dinosaurs on this sweater?
Everything goes with Christmas.
Dinosaurs?
Everything goes with dinosaurs.
It looks like if you lift my arms, it looks like I weigh 300 pounds.
Well,
This sweater just makes me look fat on TV.
Oh, he's stuck in there. There we go. Well, we're
There you
just
go.
putting them in. So we wanted to go ahead. We have
How much did
Rosanna
that spin? How
Riley
much did
has
that
been a
spinning
rock
thing cost?
star on selling tickets, by the way.
yeah.
So we're gonna put some tickets in, and we're
Okay.
gonna have Kim just read off some names as we're dropping them in.
And what are
Okay.
what are they going to win?
Just
Well, they can either win one of the early birds,
Yeah.
or they can win the grand prize.
you
Did
just
you-
want me to read the name.
Yeah.
Mary Louise Bauman. Sorry
She goes in.
if I get.
Should we be playing some kind
Please open it.
Keep going.
All right.
Couple more.
play some background
And look
music
who's
for
right
you
on
there?
the top there. You see
Jan's
Jan's
I got
ticket.
Monica Slivka.
I think you
Slivka.
probably didn't get that right either.
Throw them in there.
Drop them all in.
Patches
Oh,
of
you
them.
got
Throw them
lots.
all in there.
Why are we picking names and
Oops,
throwing
same
them in
one.
the barrel?
Just so people recognize that their tickets are going in.
Oh, I
We're
see.
being nice,
Kathy
Ed.
Oh, okay.
Anant. I'm
Are we going to read your name in there?
I don't think so. Not after you made me put this sweater on.
Renee Prescott. And Renee, you have really good
Yes,
handwriting.
she does.
And that is, I'm sensitive to that, so that's very good.
I'm more
and
sensitive
let's
to it than
see.
you are.
Oh, I dropped somebody. Steve and Tamara Share.
That's not good handwriting. That was kind of
No. It's just they have fancy handwriting, and I have simple eyes.
I have 8-year-old boy handwriting, as I always
Yeah.
I doctor hand.
Doctor handwriting. Linda Edson.
That's a lot of. I think I know
There's
Linda.
so many tickets going in there. Oh my god. Wait, that's more than I bargained for. Okay.
Oh, here she comes.
You want more or
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
You just keep talking. I'll just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So 10th and 11th, come out and join us. Last year we had close to 20 trees. We had about 15 chili people, about
Wow.
15 vendors. Obviously, every year gets better and better and
Right.
better. I mean, this event is just amazing.
You've already sold that many tickets?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. That's a lot.
All right.
Now, how much do you usually raise for the whole kit and caboodle?
That's a Stephanie question right there.
Okay. Stephanie's going to
money
answer
do
that
we-
question in a minute.
So last year for trees, we raised, I'm rounding $7,500 for trees. And of course, 100% of that goes back to the nonprofits who put their trees in. So $7,500 for local nonprofits.
Now, are you guys going to be doing the videos that you did last year? Because that was great.
Yep.
Like, so when can people tune in to see the video? And you'll be pulling a name out, right?
Our first one will be Monday.
Monday.
This Monday at approximately 6 p.m.
6 o'clock
That
on
was
Monday.
in the
Yep.
beginning of the show, but
Yep.
thank you for reiterating.
We
that.
do have a,
Sometimes
I
you
think
have
our
new
first one of the year is already up and live. We already did a little promo. If I do say so myself, it's pretty.
We're getting
You
pretty
guys-
good at
We're
this.
getting
You
pretty
guys-
good at it.
Oh, you guys are rock stars when you do that. So
Do you
funny.
do like dances, choreographed dancing? Because those are so funny.
Nobody wants to ever see
No,
that.
no, I think it's very funny.
I think you guys should text me when you're getting ready to do it so I can share it on our page.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
because
That would be
yeah.
great.
We
Thank
can
you.
totally do that.
We would love that.
Great.
Thank you.
So before you go, Megan, tell us about Lover's Key and what's going on down there with the Beer Fest.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. I appreciate you bringing that up. So
She said thank you, not good question.
Close enough.
I said I
Close enough.
appreciated
Yeah.
it. So Beach and Brews is back at Lover's Key. This is an event we started in 2019. The 100% of the proceeds go to Friends of Lover's Key. This helps support our Welcome and Discovery Center, as well as things around the park that Friends of Lovers Key donates to. So right now we have 8 brewers coming out. Breweries like Incro Lab. We have Coastal Days, which is always fantastic. Funky Buddha. Almirada Brewing is coming this year.
Is Palm City probably?
Riptide.
That's great, Megan.
I think Palm City's been reached out to. We haven't gotten a response. So if you're
Okay.
out there, Palm City, please join us.
And bring your Hazify.
Yeah, so we've teamed up with Suncoast Distributing this year. Shout out to Mike Copping. He is amazing, and he has really helped me organize this year. We also have the Doghouse and Cajun Gringo food trucks coming out. They're both absolutely amazing. Yabo Brothers is going to be there for live music. It's a night on the beach where you can be under the stars and under the lights. It's a very rare experience at
So
Lover's
is it
Key.
a dressy thing? Okay.
No, kick
'Cause
your shoes off and come down to the sand.
We did a beer. There was a beer tasting thing where you do a run. You run a mile, and you
I've
drink
done that.
every quarter mile.
purpose?
No.
Yeah,
We won first place.
we won first
we only
place.
ran around once, but we drank all 4 beers.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
that's
you
not-
can do that, or you can have a team of 4 people, so you only have to drink one, and
that
that's
would be
what
fun.
we did.
I'd organize that. If
Yeah,
you wanna
that
do
would be
'cause
fun.
That'd be fun.
Like a
So-
run on the beach.
You have to have throw up buckets all around though, because
No.
Well, we don't want to get into
oh
that.
no, that happens. Yeah,
No, this
Oh.
is just a very casual evening.
because we
Everybody
purposely
comes
make
down.
the beer warm on them. That's you want to make the beer as warm as you
You're
can for the
ruining the
runners.
whole
No,
idea.
Yeah.
We're getting off topic here.
Oh, sorry.
It's really a great night on the beach. And again, all proceeds go back to Friends of Lovers Key. That's my other hat that I put on.
How many hats do you have?
Well, I'm married to Dan Allers, so do
Yeah.
we really need to count this out? I mean,
No,
Lots
we
of
don't.
hats. She
By
has
the
lots
way,
of chapeaus.
The first lady of Fort Myers Beach said you guys have done a fabulous job today.
I don't
Yes.
know who that is.
I
but-
think you do know who that
Anita?
is. Mm,
Who is that?
never mind. It's
All
Cheryl.
Oh, well, I love Cheryl.
Yeah.
I love Cheryl.
Cheryl,
And I
the first
actually-
lady, mayor, first lady. You know what I mean?
I love Cheryl. I
Got
love
it.
Ray, actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think you need to be nicer.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm going to say.
The whole family is getting on me about that. I was nice all week long. So
I know.
Oh, a
I
whole
know.
week?
yeah.
So yeah, if anybody has questions about Beach and Brews, they can reach out to me. If people have questions about the Christmas Tree Festival, Stephanie, me, Mary, Ashley, Rosanna, Dawn,
Now, if
ask any of
And
us.
go online. You can register your tree and your chili online as well. There's a button to click there to register both of those. If you can't find anyone or you're not here right now, we know it's early.
So is Reed registered yet, or does he wait to the last minute
Reed
for that
has
too?
his registration form.
Yeah.
I have not received it back
See,
yet.
I see. So when you register online, do you have to describe your chili so that people can see what kind of a recipe you're going to make?
We do prefer it.
Yes.
And that's only because if somebody walks up to your table and is vegetarian or
Or has an
some sort of
allergy.
allergy,
Right,
we just
right.
want to make sure that that's known.
Now, she eats fish. Does that make her an official vegetarian?
No,
No,
it's
that's a pescatarian.
Oh, I see.
Now you got 3 women.
All
being-
kinds all kinds of names for all kinds of different things. All right. Anything else you guys want to go over? Do you want to?
No.
Did we miss anything? Or
No, we'll link up with you before the drawing on
yeah.
Monday.
Oh yeah. You doing it once a week?
Once a month. There's 3
Okay.
drawings. First Monday every month.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He has no memory.
the sweater threw me off completely. So the
I'm
first.
super excited about this sweater, and I hope
Yeah.
that the Christmas Tree Festival weekend that comes back out,
I think you
I
should try.
actually expect it.
I think you should try and get the mayor to wear this sweater at the next
Oh,
council.
no.
You know
meeting.
what?
I can buy Ray his own.
Okay,
This
good.
is just you.
Yeah.
He's going to wear it without his shirt. That's what he's going to do.
I am never going to
Fine
do
with
that.
that.
judgment.
Yep, totally fine
Yeah.
with that.
Maybe
He's-
tonight I will.
Oh, but with
lucky
that,
lady.
we're out.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank
we
you for
appreciate
coming
it.
on. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. The folks from the Women's Club, Stephanie and Megan, everybody, with their, I don't know what they spoke about in the first half of the show. I have no idea, but I'm sure you do. So why don't you go find our second guest?
They're fans.
Oh, you see, it's on a little bit of a delay, so they're out there cheering, but we can cheer inside too. All right, everybody. You know what I need to tell you about is our great friends at Beach Pottery, 17980 San Carlos Boulevard. Thousands and thousands. I just can't do a pot commercial with a Santa sweater on. It's not the same thing. They have thousands and thousands of pots, and our favorite pots, as you know, are from Vietnam. They're also from Mexico. They're indoor-outdoor pots from $5 to $500. They are true works of art. Over an acre of property. You want to go down there and you want to go shopping. You want to go mingle around the front. You want to go mingle around the back. You want to go inside and have a snack and talk to Alana and the crew out there. It's really a cool place. And if you go at the right time, you can see them carving nice nickety-knackety things that you can hang up and put in your front yard and your backyard and in your bathroom and wherever you like to have knickknacks and kind of things. Big things, little things, all kinds of things. But they, they're known for their pots because they got lots of pots. Yeah. The whole sweater thing threw me off. I apologize to our 9 listeners out there that have been watching the show this morning. But I do want to remind everybody that we are collecting candy for the kids at Bay Oaks. And there are several ways you can do that. You can bring the candy like some people have, and we will pass it off to the folks at the Bay Oaks. Or you can Venmo me a little bit of your greenback, and I will take pictures of the candy from the Walmart, and we'll bring it over to Bay Oaks. I think I'm going to drop it off tomorrow or maybe the next day. Not really sure. But, you have to have enough candy where it makes it look like, we did something. If it's just going to be 1 or 2 bags of candy, then it's going to be lame. So we need to have lots of candy for the kids. We do have trivia coming up from the Fort Myers Beach Theater. And that's coming up a little bit later on. And we're also Kim's going to tell us, we're going to talk about why she threw my Amazon Alexa in the pool last weekend. But right now, our next guest, I don't know, he's kind of delaying things. He's trying to run out the clock here, I think. Come on
over.
down, Jim Atterholt,
And I will
ladies
say
and gentlemen.
that he,
Town Council member Jim Atterholt.
He brought lollipops.
Thank you very much.
Brought
morning.
candy.
I was explaining on Facebook, Jim, that I went to Walmart, and it's quite unusual. I don't buy candy, but I was going down the candy aisle and just grabbing candy for the kids at Bay Oaks, and it's a different experience buying candy. I know you do it all the time, but
Yeah.
it was kind of the first time I've ever bought bags and bags of candy. We don't really buy a
Was
lot of
that
candy for
really,
Halloween, do you?
Like
No, we
an
don't.
event for you?
Yeah, it really was.
The average age of our condo where I live is about 80, so we don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters
Nah,
where we're at.
probably
So you
not.
don't
Pretty
get
quiet.
the older people in their 80s going up and down the hallway, knocking on doors, and
Not the ones who are intentionally knocking.
gotcha.
Yeah, we get some
Gotcha.
people wandering, but yes, yeah.
not on Halloween.
And now throughout the year,
And I'll
365. Yeah.
say that he brought the lollipops. Wasn't that the commercial for those lollipops? How many licks does it take to get
To the center.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long ago was that commercial?
A long
Yeah.
time
And
ago.
if you, it
kidding.
used to be if you found an Indian chief on your wrapper, you'd get a free lollipop. That was way back.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think they still
You know,
do that anymore.
Don't
They
think they probably do.
You know, that's very creative marketing. You would think they would pick up on that.
Yep,
And somebody
yep.
else would do it. Now,
Now
Jim,
wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I want to say that. Guess what they just bought?
a sweater, a Christmas
Nope.
sweater.
We bought, well, we actually purchased it a while ago, and because of the supply chain issues, we're waiting for it. But we went to Beach Pottery on 2 separate occasions, and they just don't have pots there. They have this furniture it's like a recycled plastic, but super nice, super heavy duty. It's called Daisy Decor. I'm looking at my wife, Daisy Decor. It weighs a ton, so the wind doesn't blow it around.
Right.
And it's indestructible.
It is. I think they said it's like lasts at least 20 years.
Yeah, and
Wow.
the weird thing is, you think about heavy plastic furniture, it's super comfortable.
And it's very stylish.
Yeah,
I
very
mean, and
cool.
there's so many colors. What color did you guys
We
get?
have a aqua
Aqua
blue,
blue.
yeah, and a little bit of a stone color, kind of a mix.
Nice.
But you can put it out on the lanai, and the wind can't blow it, and the weather doesn't. And we have some around our swimming pool area at the condo, and it lasts forever. It doesn't
Yeah.
fade. It's a great little side business for them at the Beach Pottery place, because it's really nice.
Nice.
Very
well, there
nice.
you go.
Nice
See?
extra plug in there after just reading the ad.
And
So thank you.
At the Beach Theater,
Yes. Getting all the
The Many
sponsors in.
Saints of Newark is out there, which is the new Sopranos movie.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a Sopranos movie out.
The Sopranos movie is out. Started on October 1st. It came out on HBO Max as well, same time, which is sort of weird. And we watched it last night. I'm embarrassed to say we watched it on HBO first, but we are going back to the Beach Theater because that's one you want to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
I want to be really careful because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But it's a prequel to the Sopranos. So
see.
it's Tony's earlier life.
Who
growing
plays-
up.
Who plays Tony? Because he's not alive.
Tony's son plays
No
Tony,
kidding.
his actual son in real life.
Gandolfini's son.
He's Gandolfini's son. He's wonderful. Kind of takes him at about maybe age circa 5 to 8 to all the way through high school.
Wow.
And there's a lot of other subplots that go on. It's just great to get that Sopranos fixed again.
Is the guy from the I can't remember his name from Springsteen's band in that at all?
He is portrayed as a younger man
I see,
by a
but he's
different
not
actor.
in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but he's clearly in it
Got
in
it.
spirit.
Got
Yes.
And I want to thank you for your including us in the Friday thing because
Oh,
we
Flashlight
ended
Friday.
up spending.
Oh my gosh!
we
Wait, let me
spent
tell this story.
all last
So
night.
you send out to
I never get to finish
right.
the story.
you send out like a link to a music video. Is it always? It's always a video, right?
It's always a video.
Not
It always
audio.
has to be. It has to be a live video of past. Usually this is a group circa 60s, 70s, or early 80s, and it has to be unique and no lip syncing,
Right.
a live performance, and it has to be sort of inspirational or put a smile on your face.
So yesterday you sent out the link with the Highwaymen. Now,
Yes.
don't say who it is. I would like to know if anyone in the audience actually knows who the Highwaymen are. That would be interesting because we went online and
Oh,
we were
boy.
just
we
searching.
had it on the TV.
we
We had
had Johnny Cash, who's obviously I'm
there you
giving one
go.
away. He's just an amazing. Well, he's everybody knows he was.
Your
an
audience
amazing
will know
talent.
everyone in the Highwaymen once they're told who they
Sure,
are, but
sure.
the names are household names.
Oh,
it was-
absolutely.
and so now we're watching Johnny Cash in doing the prison that he was in, the
Folsom
Folsom Prison. That's
Yeah.
a great live
yes,
concert.
yeah,
There's a lot
yeah.
of good video, and
Yeah.
those folks incarcerated there were so encouraged. I think it was like 1967. He went to Folsom, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And June Carter Cash, his wife, was
Yep.
with him,
Yep.
and it was such a cool concert because he was right there amongst the inmates, and they were. I mean, there was not a lot of security there.
Were you
No.
in prison at that time, or you had been out already?
Fortunately, it's on video. And I think I was about maybe 8. Yeah.
Right, and shoot, now I
Yeah,
forgot
we
what I
had
was
to
gonna
go
say.
back and I just trying to figure his age because we saw one video when he was very advanced age.
Oh yeah,
and
they
then
showed
we-
his final performance.
Yeah, that was
Johnny
rough.
Cash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
His voice was still good, but his body, it was tough. But
I had a chance to-
1932, I think, it was when he was
There's
born.
a great
so-
movie on Johnny Cash. Forget the name of it. You could just Google it. But I had a chance, Brett and I had a chance to see Johnny Cash in Indianapolis at a small club. And we were
No
up on
kidding.
the balcony, and June Carter Cash and the whole family was there. And it was what a great show. What a presence, stage presence.
So did you hear who's going to be at halftime of the Super Bowl?
No.
Eminem, Dr. Dre. It's going to be a whole rap thing.
Interesting.
And so it's everybody from L.A. Well, Eminem's from Detroit, but it was Dr. Dre, two other rapper kind of thing. So
Eminem, I've got to say, Eminem's got some good running songs.
Yeah,
great 8 Mile.
Yeah,
excellent to run to.
So anyway, let's get to.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, Jim.
Happy to be here. Sure.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, thank you.
So
and
that was the easy part.
That's fine.
So
Bring it.
as I said to Dan last week, Dan Allers, it wasn't a good week for the A team, being Allers and Atterholt, when it came to the community policing. Let's start with the community policing. First, what are your thoughts on how it ended?
Well, can I do my little filibuster premise first? Because as much as it appears that there's discord at the council and in the town, the Renaissance is moving forward. And I want people to be encouraged, because there is disagreement on it. Not that these are not important issues. They are important issues. But just if I could just reiterate what's going on this right now, unimpeded, which is so encouraging. The county has put $80 million into Estero Boulevard, new sidewalks, bike lanes. Everybody sees it when they're driving it. New road resurfacing, stormwater systems for Estero. $80 million. The town has put in $60 million. New water lines, new stormwater dynamics for the side streets. Huge investment. The county's going to put in $55 million for a new bridge on the south end. That's going to be tremendous. You're going to have the state put in $6.2 million at the foot of the bridge. Now, that's got some challenges, but it's a huge infusion of capital into our community. The private sector is infusing capital in this. Margaritaville, you saw this beautiful crane, doing the work on the Margaritaville this morning with the sunrise. I mean, 254 new rooms, 4 new restaurants, beautification of the downtown area. It's tremendous. The town's doing Bay Oaks, a new community center, Bayside Park, and then where we're sitting right now, Times Square is going to be completely renovated. Very cool. All over the next 2 years. So with all the stuff that's been going on at the council, none of that has been impeded. I think the council's pretty unified and all of that moving forward. So let's go to your question now, but I just want to lay that foundation that things are promising on this island. In fact, they're more than promising. I think in 2 years, this island will be so transformed in a positive way that I think people should be very encouraged by that. Anyways, community policing. So, it's a tough one. I don't think it's a tough one. I don't fully understand the opposition. I can explain it, I think. I think we talk a lot about Bonita Springs and their community police program. They've got, I don't know how many, 20 now that they've paid for. But I don't know if that's the best comparison. Sanibel's an interesting dynamic to me. They have their own police force, which I don't advocate for. I don't think we need our own police force. But they've got 24, some people say 26 police officers in Sanibel. So that means, let's just say it's 24. So let's say they've got, again, they may have 2 shifts at 12 hours, or they may have 3 shifts of 8 hours. Let's say they have 3 shifts of 8 hours. That means 8 officers are on the island patrolling. And obviously there's going to be more at the daytime. So it's probably going to be larger than that. But let's just say worst case scenario, there's 8. Right now, on a middle of the week in Fort Myers Beach, we have 2 officers patrolling our island. Now, same population, Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach. And I would argue Fort Myers Beach is a lot more livelier than Sanibel. So why do we have 2 officers and they have 8? Either they are way over-policed or we're way under-policed. We ought to figure that out. And, the sheriff, it's challenging at times, because I met privately with 2 captains, a lieutenant. We met for 2 hours talking about community policing. And they were telling me the combined experience of these 3 officers was like 100 years, much of it on Fort Myers Beach. These guys were telling us how critical community policing was, how critical some of the challenges were on the island, how we needed additional officers. And then we get people show up to the council from the sheriff's office and say, hey, everything's fine. I'd bring my family here. It's the safest place in the world. Well, it makes it tough to make the argument when the sheriffs, and I understand why they can't say it's bad, but at the same time, they can help us a little bit.
When you met with the folks at the sheriff's department that you said you met with, did they say to you point blank that you needed them?
Point blank.
Okay.
They needed them.
Do you think they were selling you, or they said you needed them, or you felt like?
Well, so it was both. I mean, they were passionate about the island. They care about the island. They know the island from a law enforcement. Some of these guys had served on the island for 10, 20 years, along with their other positions around the county and the sheriff's department, these are guys who really know their stuff. And so then they show up at the council meeting and say, oh, everything's fine here, nothing to see, nothing to, it just seems odd to me. And I understand why some of my colleagues are frustrated by that. And so if the right things to do is to increase the amount of coverage for our island by the sheriff's department, we ought to have the sheriff come to the council, explain to us why 2 is enough. Now, obviously on the weekends and special events and holidays, we have more than that, but we need to see some data. I mean, our public safety committee studied this thing. We got really smart people on this public safety committee. They voted unanimously for it. So I'm missing something. Either we have
Can I just ask do you think is it a financial thing? Is that the rub?
I just think for some of my colleagues, and I want to speak for them, but I think it's a principled thing. They said, hey, we generate a lot of money for the county. The county ought to step up and, provide additional presence on our island. And yes, that's true. But if they say, no, we're not going to, then we need to do something, right?
Well, and I think the other, I don't know, this may be obtuse, but you were just talking about all of the things that are going on here. And you mentioned time and time again, this sort of shared responsibility financially between the county and the town. It would seem like this might fall under that same.
I think that's fair, especially when we, and I don't know that we really should have our own police department. It ought to be a partnership. And so we ought to be reaching out to the sheriff. We ought to be reaching out to the county commissioners. We ought to be communicating this back and forth, not only at the sheriff's level, but at staff level. The county commissioners need to be involved. We need to see some analysis. I mean, the sheriff ought to come and just explain to us what's going on this island and show us his data, show us why the presence that they have here is appropriate, and why Sanibel has literally, I mean, they've got 25 officers. We've got 2. I mean, they got 25 full-time officers all the time. Now,
one more thing. I just wonder if when you look at the calls, the sheriff's calls by the incidents by area, if their case could be made that those would really go down if there was a greater presence here to sort of nip it in the bud and catch it before it becomes a problem where you're having to not wait. I know the response time is phenomenal, but I mean, if you could bring down the number of calls for additional folks.
Kim, get your bell ready. That's an excellent point because what the 2 captains and the lieutenant said to me was, Jim, the response is not the issue.
Right.
It's to be preventative, be proactive, and have that presence. So you tell me if people see a sheriff's vehicle going by their property, their business, the park on a regular basis, you tell me that doesn't have a deterring effect. It has to.
When it was suggested at the council meeting by Mr. Murphy that if you gave us 2, we'll get 2, what was your first reaction to that? What were you thinking?
Well, I think, it's okay to have that conversation, but I think it ought to be a conversation we have directly with the sheriff. Let's have him come before the council respectfully, have him present why they do what they do, why there's only 2 people here during a regular week period, and how additional law enforcement would be helpful. Why can't they step up? If they can't, he needs to make the case why Fort Myers Beach should step up. We ought to have a conversation. We're all adults in the room. We could figure this out.
Was that ever followed up on?
I don't know that it has been followed up on.
Is Fort Myers Beach safe or not safe?
Well, that's a unique. It's a tough question to answer because we have no data to work with. We see the police runs, but the preventative impact of these community police officers who are assigned full time, same people who get to know the community, get to know the businesses, get to walk through the neighborhoods. Everybody knows their name. To have them be present and be sort of proactively seeking out where there's hot spots and criminal activity and using that intelligence to convey it to the rest of the sheriff's department and use it as a preventative measure. I don't know how you put a price on that. And how do you measure that, Ed? How do you measure that additional police presence?
Is it safe to you or not safe? I just want to know what you.
But when you do that, it's not an either or thing, and I want
to know what his opinion is, whether he thinks Fort Myers Beach is safe.
It's about being safer. It's not a continuum. It's not an either or thing.
I get that part.
Could Fort Myers Beach be safer? Yes, I think they could be. Yeah.
Well, every community could be safer with more police.
Well, but
I'm trying to see if you think it's safe now.
But that's the debate now. We see this thought. We shouldn't have a higher level of security than other areas. Well, it happens right now in America. People hire private security firms to protect their homes, to protect their businesses. Some people hire security guards. Now, should they have to? No, but they choose to because they want a safer level. And so, it's a personal preference. I think the people of this island have said we'd like it to be safer. We want a bigger police presence. Nobody's bashing the sheriff's department. We love the people that come here.
Phenomenal.
Everybody's great. So, but could it be a heightened presence? I think it could be, and I think it would have an impact.
So you on the public safety committee, you had they did all that research. They really dug into the issue. They had some sheriff's representatives in front of them. They recommended 6-0 that you hire at least 2 community police officers. The former police officer from Ohio, Jim Nichols, said 4 is the right number, yet they were totally ignored. Why do the committees waste their time like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think the advisory committees waste their time. I think I heard those guys and gals on public safety. I've heard them on the lighting issue with the Marine Resource Task Force. They've provided better information than the consultant has, in my opinion, on the lighting issue for Estero Boulevard. So, and I think
Give them one.
there are times that the advisory committees could have a disagreement with the council, but to say that they're not listened to, I'm not sure that's fair. Was I disappointed that their 6-0 recommendation was not heeded? Yes, but I think it's a little much, even for the people I disagree with on community policing, to say that they were ignored, because I mean, these people are very respected people in our community and public safety, and they put a lot of time and effort into this thing, and people hear them, and I can't. You have to ask them how they feel about it, but I can't imagine to say that they disregarded. I mean, they certainly didn't agree with it, but they to disregard that, I think, is a little bit harsh.
Okay.
I think
the other thing, though, is that they put out, they extended a thing to the community. They got community input.
They did a
Survey.
survey.
So they did a survey. Thank you. I'm like losing my mind here. And so that survey, it based a lot of their decisions on that. And that's representative of what the community,
Well, the survey, to be fair, the survey was criticized right from the beginning from the town manager, who said that some of the responses were coming from out of town, which I think is also acceptable because people come from out of town and spend half the year here. So they poo-pooed it right from the beginning.
Yeah, I think, again, my biggest question that as I put my head on the pillow is, why does Sanibel, and I don't want to be like Sanibel, but it is fascinating to me that an island with a population roughly the same size as ours has 25 or 26, 24 police officers full-time, and we have 2, with the exception of, again, special events and weekends.
Is this a dead issue, or is it going to come up again?
I don't think it's a dead issue at all. In fact, the money's there in the budget. It's $230,000 a year. And so it's a modest cost to, in essence, double our police force. We're in essence, again, not weekends, not special events. We're in essence doubling our police force for $230,000 a year. To me, that's a pretty good investment, especially with this renaissance going on. We want people here to see a police presence, feel safe, and feel good about Fort Myers Beach, and that's a big part of it.
So
I just wonder, maybe
skip ahead, dear.
All right, but maybe the parking, additional parking fees could go
All right,
towards.
that's the next one. Good segue.
Well, I mean,
You guys-
if you're raising the rates,
There, back
that
up a little.
money
You got to
could
lay
be-
the facts for the new folks.
all right. lay
The town
facts.
council voted to increase the rates in parking from $3 to $5, and also the vacation rental application went from $50 to $300. I don't think you were in favor of either one.
We voted against the budget. Dan Ehlers and I voted against the budget, but I did offer an amendment in the interest of trying to find a compromise to take some of the parking fee increase dollars and have it also pay for community policing. It could have paid for the parking app, could have covered community policing. We still would have some additional money for cost overruns of the 3 projects we talked about earlier. And that's fine. My colleagues chose not to do that. But, so I voted against the budget because I think community policing should have been part of that budget. So, so the money is there in the budget right now. It's just a question of whether, and I pray, quite frankly, that we don't have another shooting or stabbing or something that causes this rediscussion. Hopefully we can have a good conversation, get some data from the sheriff, get public safety back engaged again, the advisory committee, and continue to talk about this. And hopefully we'll be able to get something done on it. I really think that it's not that heavy of a lift.
I think to your point, or at least what I heard from your point in all of that discussion too, was that not giving enough time for the public to weigh in on those issues.
And that's a whole another issue. Now, you mentioned the short-term rental. Those fee increases, according to the author of that proposal, will go directly to, and again, we use the term affordable housing or workforce housing, and he uses those interchangeably. They're 2 different things, but that will go specifically to that goal and has to by law, as I understand it. The parking fee increase apparently can be used for a wide variety of purposes, including community policing.
You know, part of the parking dilemma is, and we had people sitting here this morning, is it's confusing because you have Lee County owns Lynn Hall Park. It's not confusing to everybody, but
Yep, it is
it's confusing because that's $2. They thought it was going up to $5. Then you have the parking on the street that you own, the parking under the bridge, what's left of it that you own, and there's, so how are you going to educate the people? I know you have a PIO, but
well, this is where this parking app concept comes into play. If somebody comes over that bridge and they can not only see where the spots are, but which ones were open and which ones were filled, you can have a lot more efficient disbursement of traffic and hopefully reduce some of the congestion.
Jim,
instead of having people wandering around looking for a parking
Can we be
spot.
serious?
It's just part of it. It's not the
but
solution.
people are not going to use a parking app.
I don't know. Ed, the next
Have you ever-
generation,
I don't know.
is different. I'm with my age group. Maybe not. Some will. I see a lot of my age group savvy to all this stuff. But the next generation, my kids, they're hot all over this stuff. Have you ever used a parking app? I mean,
all right.
Honestly, I
have you ever
haven't,
used a
but my
parking app?
kids do all the time.
The app that we had the woman on who created it for free back a while ago, she also had like the trolley schedule and that kind of stuff. Now, when I went down to Key West, I absolutely used their app to find where the trolleys were, see when the next trolley was coming.
Different story. They're talking about a parking app that says
but
this.
What I'm saying is,
how are you going to
the app
manage
that
what
she was talking
spot
about
is open, what lot is full?
Requires a lot
Wait a
more
minute.
infrastructure.
Wait a minute. I talked to one of the largest vendors in Florida who does this, and he said this thing is easy. The technology's there. It's not that expensive, and it's very doable.
To get real time.
They use cameras now that can detect when the spots are open or closed.
Well, you're getting extra cameras, right?
Well, the cameras are
right.
unfortunately not used for that, but they could be. And so the parking app technology is there, and I do think the next generation, Zed, I just watched my kids.
Okay, but this beach isn't a next generation beach. It's an us generation beach.
Coming.
And people come over the bridge and they will snoop around the parking lots to see somebody pulling out so they can get in because they want to get as close. I mean,
but we have to try things. We have to do something. We can't just sit there and just gripe about it. We've got to have solutions.
I didn't agree with raising the fee for a parking app.
Let me give you some hope. In the last month, I've met with or had conversations with two different groups that are proposing additional parking right over the bridge, the North Bridge. One has 135 spots. That was actually in the media. That's at the old Shrine Club. And another group, very serious group, is proposing a potential parking garage.
Great idea.
Of 400 people.
Where would that be?
400 spots. I'm sorry.
I
can't say yet.
Close though.
They're still very close.
Nice.
Within walking distance.
That's the answer.
They'll have their own shuttle. And they'll also be connected to Leetran. It's the answer. 400 spots. The town total has 350 spots for the whole island. This is 400 spots.
So let's just hypothetically say a parking garage with 400 spots is built. Will you lower the fee from $5 back to $2?
Well, I mean, I'm sort of in the minority in all this. Yeah.
Well, whatever. Well, it should be lowered to $2 if they have 400 parking spots, right? I mean, it's just, but that I don't think that government really ever goes down.
Well, oddly enough, the parking rate increase helps the developers of these parking garages because it makes it more competitive.
Good. So let's move on to the lighting. I want to make sure we talk about the lighting. What was your conclusion? What were you thinking when you saw the final presentation, months and months of research, up to $180,000? I don't know what the final bill was, but they could have gotten paid up to $180,000 for their contract. We're talking about town lighting, and they didn't make a recommendation to the council. What was your thought?
My initial thought was thank heavens for our advisory committees, because between public safety and the Marine Resource Task Force, they did tremendous amount of research and homework on this and clarified the issues for the consultant. The consultant, they claim when I asked the question, what's your recommendations? They said, well, we don't make recommendations. I almost fell out of my chair, but I was so caught off guard by that. I didn't really, I was so shocked to hear that, but they in essence did make a recommendation. Their recommendation was this dual light. The dual light, which both public safety said, listen, we want a uniform solution year-round for the island. That was against their recommendation. Marine Resource Task Force said we want an amber solution, so it was against their recommendation. So the people on our island who actually spent a lot of time researching this, the consultant completely disregarded with a solution that's not even approved by FWC, by FDOT. So I mean, it was an odd a touch recommendation. So I was kind of stunned by it all, to be honest with you.
Do you feel like the Fort Myers Beach taxpayers got their money's worth with that consultant?
I think at this point, no, but it's potential as it gets more technical. I think hopefully they can redeem themselves, because we're going to probably have to make two decisions hopefully at the next council meeting or next M&P meeting. We're going to have to determine whether we want an amber solution or a dual light or a white light or a mixed solution. And it's kind of an easy answer, because FWC, Florida Fish and Wildlife, has said we're not going to accept anything but an amber solution.
Right.
So they've kind of decided that for us. And then the other question will be, do we want to own these lights ourselves, or do we want Florida Power and Light to own them? Trust me, I got a lot of experience in the utility sector from before I came down here. We don't want to manage and own our own light system. They're subject matter experts. They've got economies of scale, and they also have service agreements with other communities, other states. If we have a hurricane, they could bring in outside resources to triage our island to help get the lights back on. So those two questions, I think, could be easily answered. And then we have to do a photometric study of what's the cost going to be, where do the poles need to be. That's where the technical expertise of this consulting firm, I think, could come in handy. In terms of building a consensus and narrowing down our choices, I think our advisory committees did a lot more than our consultant did.
So being that, for those that don't know, Estero Boulevard is owned by the county. Who's the point person negotiating with the county on the town's behalf?
That's a good question. I
One
don't know if there's a lot of dissension there. The county's made it clear to us that they're going to pay for the lighting for the various crosswalks on Estero Boulevard, and they've basically said, if you want anything more than we currently have now, you guys are on your own. You're going to have to pay for it. And the town wants better lighting, so we're going to have to pay for it.
I understand that, but the town could, the county could also say, nah, we don't like those lights.
Yeah, but the amber solutions that we're looking at now, one of which has already been approved by FP&L, the other one I just found out yesterday or 2 days ago that it's been requested. This is this Visionaire light that's much more powerful amber light is already currently being looked at by FP&L to be approved. So it's already in the process. We get that light. That's a light that's already being used by the county on our island. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be a solution that they're going to be comfortable with.
It's going to be amber. There's going to be amber lights.
I'll be shocked if it's not amber. And quite honestly, I think it should be amber.
And the town bill for that would be what estimated?
We really don't know it.
In the millions?
Well, $1 million and change or more. I don't know.
Because you need more poles.
Depending on which amber light we get, it'll determine how many poles we need. And again, this is where this photometric study could really be helpful. I just don't know yet.
Is it safe to say that going from white to amber is out?
Yeah, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Agency basically said a white light solution is unacceptable. So you can't do it because you've got liability issues.
Don't you think it's strange that you're really doing this for just one turtle? Because only one turtle out of millions of turtles actually makes it to the water.
1 out of 1,000.
But they can swim 60 miles an hour.
I know. They can. Did you see?
Wow, now it's up to 60.
Did you see the SCCF? SCCF tagged the turtle that they lost a couple of years ago, but then they found it in Key West, and now on their website you can track the turtle. That it's the coolest thing to see that they have a name for the turtle and everything, and those things can fly. I want to get on the back of one of those turtles, dear, when we get in the water someday.
That's completely illegal, and you would never do that.
Yeah, but in fairness, Ed, if you listen to Steve Johnson, who's very educated on all this stuff, it's more than just the turtles. It's the birds. It's the environment in general. But we already, we ought to be sensitive. We're a beautiful island. We're in the middle of a beautiful
Renaissance
state park.
It's
a beautiful area. So we got to be sensitive to that. But it's sort of a moot point, anyways. But because we can't do anything but amber.
And I want to apologize to the turtle people. I was just joking. I'm sure they're going to suggest I have to go to some kind of turtle rehab or sensitivity class. We have a turtle at home. We're all about the turtles.
They've got sense of humor. It's fine. But I think that the island gets the fact that we've got to be turtle friendly. But I think you can find a solution that's also good for public safety. The current situation is so bad right now. It's going to be demonstrably better.
I will say I was in one place out west that had the amber lights, and I was driving. My personal preference would be that because it is easier on the eyes. It's a much more calming light. You're not getting black. I thought it was great, and I could see fine while I was driving.
Yeah.
So speaking of out west, do you think this laundry guy is alive, or you think he killed himself?
Well, anybody who would do what he would do I would consider him a coward already. So taking his own life would be a sort of a cowardly way out of this. I have no idea, of course, but he gets what he deserves.
Dog the Bounty Hunter's on the case, so we're all safe now.
I think he's doing that with his walker and his cane.
Yeah.
But good for Dog.
Yeah. So let's talk about the parking just real quick again. the parking under the bridge situation has starting to irk people a little bit because there's construction. There's nothing you can do about it. If you want to upgrade the area, you got to have construction, and there's construction going on over there, and it's been blocked off for quite a while, almost the whole year. And you guys are going to talk about extending that to the end of the year on Monday, and that's even though the spots aren't available to the public, you are getting the revenue from the contractor. So.
Well, it's not about money on this one. It's you've got people that do buy parking passes through the town, and that can park in these areas, and it is causing them some grief, particularly for employers in that area that are trying to find parking for their employees. But it's a staging area for water and stormwater projects that we have to get done before Margaritaville comes in. So, I mean, we've got the next year and a half. It's going to be challenging because there's going to be a lot of construction going on, but that's to me, a blessing in many ways. Now, to offset, I think some of the challenges that you just, I think, appropriately referenced, because I've heard from constituents on this, the town is going to be opening up, I think today, 35 new spots at Town Hall. And I think you'll be able to use your parking pass to park there at no charge.
Cool.
Because you buy an annual parking pass. So 35 new spots there. And again, it's a little bit of a hoof, but it's definitely walkable. The tram. And so, I mean, we're going to have to kind of wrestle through this together as a community. And
listen, you made it through the Estero Boulevard,
Yes.
so this should be a walk in the park.
Riding the bike on that road this morning, even though it's dark,
It's spectacular.
it's the paint is great. The bike lanes are perfect. They don't need. I know this might not go over well with Dan and those guys. They don't need to be painted green. I think the bike lanes, the way they are just fine. And I don't know if it's more for the driver, but when I ride in a bike lane, I don't need to have it green or anything like that. I just like to ride in the bike lane.
I think it's for the driver. I
the
ride a lot.
drivers.
We ride our bikes. We have this low tide app that tells us when low tide is, and we'll take our bikes from the south end on the beach all the way down to Bowdish Point, right through Bowdish Point, then come back through Times Square and then back to the south end. And when you're right. The bike rider doesn't necessarily need those green markings, but as a driver, when I see those things, I'm thinking, oh, the bikes. I forgot that bike could be. I'm always going to be sensitive that there could be a bike presence when I'm turning. If I see a green little marking there, I'm going to check my mirror a little bit more.
I agree with that, and when there's an intersection or something like that. And the other thing that is always amusing to me is that sometimes the bike lanes will have arrows in them or actual paintings of bikes. And they're more of a nuisance to the biker because they're elevated off the flat surface.
But I think that's because they're reflective.
No, it's just to make sure that the people are going the right way. And some people ride the wrong way, surprisingly. And so but it's elevated off I know we're getting off the subject, but as a biker, you don't want when you're riding fast, you don't want that thing to knock you off a bike. It could be because it's elevated off the ground. I mean, I know you've never gone as fast as I can go, so you don't really know what it's like to go down. Well, you do know what it's like to go down on a bicycle. But anyway, on to the next thing. Let's talk about Bayside Park.
I like when Kim takes the heat. This is great. This is great. Yeah.
We ran into you at Bayside Park, the old Bayside Park, because they had the big Songwriters Fest going on. Oh, yeah.
Another great event for the beach. You guys were great in helping to highlight that. Great artists all over town.
Yeah.
What a great, especially for the off season, that and Roar by the Shore, all these events going on, the Save the Arches event today. I mean, there's so much activity in the off season that we really ought to encourage.
It's so nice too to finally see the off season shrinking.
Yes.
The more events you come up with, the more people come down, and then it would be great for all the businesses on the island to have no off season. So the Bayside Park project seems like it's going to be first.
It is going to be first. It's had some challenges because the initial bids that went out came back over double what they originally were thought because of the supply chain issues and the inflation issues because of COVID. So the town manager is trying to value engineer those bids and see if he can get some economies going. We're pre-buying some equipment. I think you mentioned that in your newsletter. And that's very legitimate because we can lock in prices right now that we're going to eventually lose that price advantage if we don't lock them in. So, but I did ask the town manager about this, and he said with all the rebidding and the value engineering going on, they hope to break ground by the first of the year on Bayside.
Okay.
All right. So the other thing I want to make sure I brought up was the Dune Walkover. This has been going on for years now, and at the time it started, you were on the LPA, and the LPA voted unanimously to approve the Dune Walkover for Eddie Rood and Kurt Cromer, and it's all kinds of litigation going on now. How much has the town spent so far on that project?
Let me set the stage here, because you everything you said was
You
correct.
didn't like the way I set the stage?
No, you were absolutely fine. You're absolutely correct. But let me just give you an addendum. I was on the LPA and I voted for it on the LPA, and it was unanimous. But there was something with the notification of that issue. The opponents of the dune walkover were not notified, or they were unaware of it, and they didn't show up. So we heard
who the opponents are. Who are
the opponents of the dune walkover?
Who were
a lot of citizens.
Okay.
The Audubon Society,
Okay.
and a lot of other folks who live here on the island. And so nobody showed up. So we never heard any dissenting views. We never heard the other side. So, and that was right in the middle of the election cycle. So I get elected, and I'm in the process, the previous council, I get a chance to listen to the debate. I heard both sides. And after listening to both sides, I thought the opponents of the dune walkover, I thought their arguments were persuasive. And when I got on the council, and I did change my vote. But it wasn't like I flipped. We never heard the other side when I was on the LPA. If you go back and listen to that hearing, there was only one side presented. Nobody's fault. It's just the reality of the situation. So, and having heard and talked to a lot of people involved in this, I don't think it's in the public interest for the town of Fort Myers Beach to support that walkover. So, but to your question, I asked the town attorney this the other day. He said, this has been going on for over 5 years. A lot of the cost was in previous councils when there was previous litigation. Said it was around $300,000. That has been spent thus far. Now, that being said, it's important to know that the town is not in litigation with these two gentlemen right now. They're in litigation with the state of Florida. We are in litigation with one of the gentlemen on an ADA claim that he has filed. Mm-hmm. And those legal costs are covered by the Florida League of Cities. We're a member of the Florida League of Cities, and they have a legal team there that defends their members. And so they've a little bit of a dogfight over there. And they've got, so those costs, there's no cost to the town to defend against that ADA lawsuit.
Right.
So what I would say to folks, instead of just who are curious about the issue, go over to the south end of the beach and go for a walk along the beach. Go all the way to the bridge there, walk along that beach. It's open to the public. Walk through the critical wildlife area. And you determine whether you want, it's not a dune walkover, it's a bridge over a large body of water. This concept of a dune walkover is silly. And you determine whether their private bridge over this body of water that's so beautiful back there, so unintruded upon, you determine whether that's in the town interest of Fort Myers Beach. We have 3 preserves on this island, in essence, small: Bowditch, Matanzas, and the critical wildlife area. Everything else is developed. We're arguing about redevelopment, which is fine. But can we just leave a few areas here undeveloped, just so people can enjoy the?
But Jim, some of the stuff that you left out includes the fact that they do have a right to access to the beach from their home, don't they?
Well, their access was through a neighbor prior.
Right.
And the neighbor put up a fence.
But they do. That was access. But there
was an access to their neighbor's property. The neighbor then, once they changed the high tide line, the neighbor said no more, which I thought was unfair and unfortunate. But that was the neighbor's right.
Sure.
So I can't. I'm not going to argue all the minutiae of this thing because it's going to be in court if it's not already. And so I just think you got to look at that area.
But the homeowners claim that they have enough proof to show that they own that property behind there, and that that there's a chance that the critical wildlife area will be wiped out.
Well, our town attorney tells me otherwise.
Okay.
And that's a fair conversation. It's America. They have a right to litigate this. I just happen to disagree with this being in the public interest of these two gentlemen and their property. We've got a beautiful nature area back there. So few nature areas on this island. Everything's so developed. I think we got to do everything we can to preserve it. And I think I'm going to fight to do that. They
also said that if they were allowed to, now they're not talking about building their walkover or bridge, whatever you call it, over the. And I'm not arguing for anybody's case. They're talking about they moved it around so that it wasn't anywhere where it was going to be over, and it was going to be of use to their neighbors, not just them. They were allowing their neighborhood to use it, so there's a limited amount of public use for it. And they didn't want to be liable for the entire community or the entire beach being able to walk over the boardwalk into their backyard. If somebody got hurt or something, they'd be liable for it. So there are other facts in there too.
That's fair. But I would encourage people to walk back there. The body of water back there is huge.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's arguing
it's a bridge.
But I think that the downside would be if they wipe it out. That'd be awful.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't really wipe out the critical wildlife. It's a designation, and
Okay.
so
Go ahead.
yeah.
Am I missing something?
No. Can I ask? There
Yeah.
was a question that was posed on the website on the newsletter. It has nothing to do with the dune walkover, but I want to ask you that because it was
Yeah.
under something specific to you. So the question is from Melanie Matthews. What's the timeline for beach restoration in the Leonardo Arms area?
Well, that's a great. I live in that area.
It's so.
You didn't ask it.
Well, let's ring it for Melanie.
It's ring it for Melanie. Yeah, because I actually read that on the website.
Oh, you did?
It's
Okay.
part of your newsletter. It's a great question. Leonardo Arms. If anybody, again, if you're walking in that south area, take a walk past Leonardo Arms. The erosion there, for reasons that are somewhat mysterious, but nature's strange along that part of the island. Some areas are accreting, where our friends that have the dune walkover, aspiring dune walkover, that's actually growing. That part of the beach is growing, getting wider. The area where I live, near where this lady lives, is tremendous erosion. Just the way the currents flow, it's just tearing. It's near the Wyndham, Estero Beach and Tennis Club. That area, it's just tearing out sand. And now Leonardo Arms is a unique situation because one of their condos is very close to the water, and it's getting to the point where it's almost right at the building's edge.
Oof.
And it's scary. So the town has done a nice job. We already have beach restoration approved for the north end, and everybody supports that. And now we've changed that license to expand it to the entire island so we can hit troubled spots. Part of the challenge on the south end is there's very little beach access. Now you could use this argument for your dune walkover, but there's very little beach access. That wouldn't be a public access, by the way. But that being said, they've asked Leonardo Arms and other condos, our condo, Estero Beach Tennis Club, to put a public access point between those condos, because that gives you points with the county, with the TDC, to get funding that would help you pay for restoration efforts. Those restoration efforts are extremely expensive. The county and the TDC fund is designed to help those, but they only help areas that have a lot of public access. So if we can add that additional public access, the town's been great at helping us with this, it would really increase the speed in which we can give them some help.
So what's the latest on the town's property problem with the school district by Bay Oaks? Is that all? That was all resolved?
I think it's pretty resolved. Yeah,
there was an interlocal.
Yeah,
that
they
they
got a
needed
new attorney there, and they had to relook
I
at
see.
everything. And our town's done a nice job of negotiating with them, and I think they worked all that out.
I heard Councilman Bill Veach say, I think I heard him say that all three projects are over budget already. Is that true?
Well, again, I think a lot of it's supply chain issues, inflation issues. You're seeing that. I mean, you talk to anybody who's trying to build a house right now that didn't have it all contractually fixed. I mean, the costs are skyrocketing.
Right.
We've got barges.
So is
sitting
that a
off the
long
coast.
way of saying yes?
Yes, I think
So
so.
how do you resolve that?
Well, again, you got to make tough choices. One of the reasons why Councilor Veach asked for these fee increases was to offset some of those overruns, potential overruns, and you got to make tough choices. I mean, that's it's just the reality of the time we're living in.
Now that you've been on the council for how long? Almost 2 years
About
now.
a year and a half.
Year and a
something
half.
like that.
What's your grade for the town manager?
What's my grade for the town manager? I think he's a very strong project person. I think, and I've said this publicly when we were trying to have a review of the town manager, I think his challenge is to build more relationships with the county and the various county agencies and have a working, positive relationship. We have this love-hate relationship with the county, but the county has all the they hold all the cards.
It doesn't make any sense.
So we need to be loving on the county.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're dependent upon them for so many different resources.
And they're so lovable.
Well, they are lovable. I mean, Ray Sandelli, how can you not love Ray Sandelli?
Doesn't make any sense.
And so, I mean,
makes no sense.
So we need to build those relationships. So, I mean, so you can't just give it an overall grade, but I think these guys, in terms of like taking on these projects and doing the value engineering and try to get the biggest bang for our buck on these three building projects, I think he's got a lot of experience in that area. He could be very effective. Again, communication skills. I still encourage him to come on this show. I tell him that privately. I'll tell you that publicly. I think he ought to be answering a lot of these questions as well. So communication-wise, I think there's room for improvement. But in terms of his skills and experience as a project guy, I mean, he's pretty effective.
People do bury the hatchet. He could come on the show and it'd be totally professional.
I hear an entree. I love it.
I would love to have him on
the
the show and it'd be totally professional.
Beautiful. Well, I encourage that to happen. I really have encouraged it privately. And
thank you for coming on. Is there anything we missed? Did you have any questions for us?
Well, I don't know. Are we over time? Because one of the things you guys never talk about, you can occasionally talk about some of the events you do, and you're really an encouragement to a lot of people on this island in terms of we get a lot of, we spend so much time fighting about masks and vaccinations and mandates. What we don't talk enough about is building up people's immunity through better health, through fitness, through diet. You got into it with one of your guests the other day talking about BMI. It was really interesting. Yeah. So you guys are in this business or have been in this business. You live this life. I mean, I just wanted to encourage you to talk more about things you do in your life and your diet.
We just had that fight last night. One of our many, because she thinks that people aren't interested in things that we do, like the races and things like that. And I think some of it could be boring, but when there's a funny thing that happens or something, or maybe it is interesting to somebody when they hear you run 8 miles, or sometimes it sounds like you're always talking about yourself too. So it's not that easy to get out there.
People need role models. They need to be encouraged, because I'm going to be 60 next year, and I'm on this crusade to try to, get back into really the best shape I can before I turn 60. And I got 10 more pounds. I got to lose. It's hard to lose those last 10.
For sure. When you get older.
So you lift a lot, and that muscle mass helps burn calories. And you guys, you're very careful about your diets. You do all different kinds of exercises. And I like to talk too about, Kim and I were just talking before the show briefly about the beach. People live on the beach. They have these things called swim buoys. You blow up this little buoy. It's maybe looks like a dachshund or a wiener dog, about that shape, and it trails behind you. It's a bright neon thing, and you can swim along the shoreline of the ocean. It's calm here.
And I would like to say that specifically today, you should come on down. The water is amazing.
It's like
up
glass.
to my neck. You can see all the way to the bottom. It is so crystal clear. The temperature of the water is perfect. You should come on out, bring your swim goggles. We were talking about that. I'm going to bring my swim goggles next week. And I think to your point about the exercise is, I think for you become one-dimensional. And I think you need to encourage everybody that maybe they're not going to do an 8-mile savage race, but they could get out and walk. They could get out and swim. They could go and hike. They can go and bike. Those things that are so accessible to everybody and so cheap. Get a pair of sneakers, get a pair of water shoes, and just go out and get into the air. As the weather is coming up now, we're getting low humidity, the temperatures are down. So yeah, I agree. And
that's putting that swim buoy on and putting your goggles on. It's not going to cost you more than $50. People who live along the beach is fine, but even if you have a beach access where you live in your residence, to walk over to the beach, go for a swim along the shoreline. The buoys are going to protect you from the various the boats and so forth. And you'll be far enough out with the swim buoy that you won't have to worry about fishermen or so forth. And it's a great way, low impact way to get exercise. And this bike riding, and you're like a serious bike rider, but Brett and I have these balloon tire bikes, no speeds, no brakes. And when the tide is low, it's like riding on a road out there. The sand is very flat and hard. And you can ride all the way down to Bowditch and back. And it's a great workout with the wind going on. But I mean,
and if you like wildlife, you're out there swimming. I've had the occasion where I had some manatees come up and swim next to me, and you've had dolphins following you.
2 dolphins trailing me the other day. Unfortunately, I didn't see them, but the people on the beach told me about it. So cool, and they're so friendly. There's the shark issue. People will catch an occasional shark, but they're little baby sharks.
Right.
I never hear anybody getting a shark attack issue on this side of the.
You've got Matanzas Pass Preserve to go walk through. You've got a lot of places down here to go and explore.
And on your
Lover's Key,
on your bike, when you're coming around Bowditch and you come through the park, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you're on your blue
trails there.
There's a hill there. An actual hill in Florida that you can take on your bike.
It's
a great workout. Oh, it's a pretty good hill, I think. Pretty steep.
Thank you for coming on. To be continued on the fitness thing. I think maybe we have another separate show there.
Diet. You guys could talk more about diet. I mean, just healthy things to do. And I mean, especially as you get older. I mean, this thing about
tough.
There's certain lifts that you shouldn't do, certain lifts you should do.
Right. Steve was asking me about it before the show. The plumber was asking me about it when he was fixing the toilet that she broke the other day. So, Jim, thanks so much. You're always a great guest. We always appreciate you coming on, and I hope when your wife goes back and listens to the show, she doesn't criticize me about asking hard questions.
You see what hat she's wearing?
Yeah, she came out with the colors on, which was very nice, and Steve was harassing her the whole time. Yes. Are you going to do the Savage Race with us? Have you decided?
We were going to sheepishly approach you afterwards, but Brenda has to work that Saturday morning.
They have the race on Sunday, too, so you can do Sunday.
Darn, we can't figure it out.
She's working the whole weekend.
She is now,
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for being.
Thanks Jim Atterholt, everybody. Big round of applause for Jim. All right, there you go, dear. You're going to read that, and I'm going to hopefully there's a bathroom open for me, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Go ahead. Read it slow.
So, talking about getting outdoors. Oh, my God. Ow, you kicked me in the leg. Ow. Talking about getting outdoors and being in the open air. Fort Myers Tiki Tours. Fort Myers Tiki Tours, 239-887-0042. Get out there. They provide the boat. You and 5 of your friends can take a 90-minute tour up and down the bay, nice and slow. You can see, maybe you'll see a manatee. Maybe you'll see a turtle. Maybe you'll see a dolphin. Maybe you'll see a manta ray. Lots of stuff out there to see. They provide the captain. They provide the cooler and the ice. You bring the food and whatever drinks you want. Bring your friends, or if you just want to go out there by yourself and commune with nature. The captain that we had, we went out for Father's Day. You can go out for Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays, any kind of event. And no go. So give them a call at 239-887-0042. They're over at Salty Sam's Marina, and tell them we sent you.
All right, the bathrooms were locked, so let's give away the tickets real quick.
Okay.
Beach Theater tickets, everybody. 2 tickets to the Beach Theater.
Can I help you out
yes,
here?
Yes. All we need to do is pull that out there. All right. The first person to correctly. You're not really
Wow,
helping.
you're shuffling papers there.
Yeah, I got.
You're
a lot
always
of papers.
so organized.
Oh, they just
Should
left
really-
the bathroom there.
There we go.
You're gonna read that. Go ahead.
No. It's
gotta
time
go.
for movie trivia. Your chance to win 2 tickets to
All
see
right.
a movie down at the Beach Theater on Estero Boulevard. This week, we screen Many Saints of Newark, which looks at the formative years of Tony Soprano. How many seasons of The Sopranos aired on HBO? And go.
And if you type in the answer, you are the winner. And we will send you the tickets, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We are running way over. We're going to be next door for a little bit so that we can help the folks out with the arches, the restore the arches. They're going to do the poker walk down there. So we will be back next Saturday with another great lineup of guests. Thanks to Jim Atterholt. Thanks to Megan and Stephanie. And don't forget to drop off your candy for Bay Oaks. And subscribe to the newsletter by going to Radio Inc. No. Beach Talk Radio. I said Radio Inc. My day job. Nick Adams is the winner.
Adams.
Very
You got
nice.
it. Very good.
Nick Adams. I got to remember that. Somebody won the tickets last week, dear, and I didn't write it down. So I don't know who won the tickets. So if you've been watching the show and
send him a message.
Yeah, send me a message or an email or text and let me know. 247-3833, and we'll make sure you get the tickets from last week. And congratulations to Nick. And the final story we want to make sure, because we were talking about it, was that you threw my friend Alexa, in the pool last weekend. We like to play trivia every.
No, we like to play Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
On top of the fact that I hate it that it lights up every time, I do think it's listening into me. It creeps me out. It listens when it's not supposed to listen, but then when I'm giving correct answers to the Jeopardy questions, it's saying wrong, and then it's giving the right answer.
Sometimes you're too far away.
I threw it right in the pool. I'm done with it.
What happened was we have it connected to our stereo, and I shut the stereo off, so she's talking to the Alexa, but the speakers, the Alexa was actually answering, but the speakers weren't on, so she couldn't hear it. So she got so angry, she goes, "I'm going to throw that in the pool." I
didn't really get that angry.
And I said, "No, you're not going to. You would not. That's not your style. You don't do things like that. You're not going to throw that in the pool." Well, she threw it in the pool, and you know what, folks? Alexa can't swim. I don't know if you knew that, but Alexa can't swim.
Nope.
And that was the end of that. It didn't work after we let it dry out either.
I don't like it.
All right, everybody. Thank you again. We will see you 1 week from today here at Peach Time Out, the only place on the beach that you want to come down and hang out with us every Saturday morning.
Go to the bathroom before you have an accident.
All right, everybody. Thank you all. Thanks to our sponsors, and you are all the best. If you were here right now, I'd give you all a big French kiss. I'm going to go home and wear the sweater to sleep tonight. Thank you. Bye-bye.